Ok, donc bienvenue encore sur ma chaîne. Welcome back to my channel. And I am reviewing the music video by Rihanna titled American Oxygen. So you have seen the previous episode, the first episode being Black Power. Who are the Black Powers? I think I do have an episode titled Is Egypt America? Then I have the Trans Illusion and so on. So today we are, the title of this video, we are viewing what is it called? Yeah, war. It's all about war and what it represents. And we're going to view the symbols. We're going to view also the United Nations and how all the countries are somehow united. And you can see that I will show it to you through their symbols. And also think about it, okay? Even when we're talking about World War II, which will be World War, which will be a very important topic, okay? So we are talking about forces, and we know that the first war was about the sea, then the second about the land, and then the third is about the air and space. And we know that Satan is described as the prince of power of air in the Bible, in the Word of God. So in this episode, we will see how Isis, who's Inanna, named after which Rihanna was named after, Rihanna, Inanna. She's also Virgin Mary. She's Astet, Astarte. Depending on the culture that you entered in, she has different names, a different face, and a different image, a different picture. And also we're talking about the Olympics, Santeria, who's Satan, Santa Claus, who's described to be the Chaldeans, the leader of the Chaldeans, a pagan group, of course. And yes, and you know what? In this episode, we are discussing how all the religions that we know of today are all part of Babylon, the religion of Babylon. They just have different faces, names, adapted to different cultures.
911, what's your emergency?
Martin Luther King was shot and was killed tonight.
Okay, so last time we left out the subject of American Oxygen, the fake Jews. We left out with the mask. Okay, so we have spoken about the masquerade team, the parade, the mask, the attire, the clown, the costume, and costume as a clown costume, but also as a politician costume. We've talked about Donald Trump, the character of Donald Trump, who appeared in a music video of 2017, being eliminated by Snoop Dogg. Okay, so this is like a depiction of the Black Lives Movement. And of course, you have to ask this question, who are the Black Powers? It has nothing to do with skin colors, but instead it has to do with black magic, white magic. It's a play. It has to do with chess, using humor in order to lead the people astray. Okay. So of course I gotta start with the team verse. Okay, so the theme verse goes like this. So for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. We also have spoken about the fashion ball, the Met Gala more specifically, And not only the attire is important, the face, the mask. Sometimes the mask is not seen as the white face necessarily, but sometimes they're using a latex mask. Okay, so today let's continue. So the music video continues with this frame. So we have this frame of so-called Rihanna, and some people don't know, but whenever you see a face that is captured on the side, just like the mugshot, think of the criminal mugshot, then when you see half of the face, the profile, then it's called half a face. Okay, so then in the music video, so you have the race. Oh, I already did this. Okay, yeah, we also spoke about the race, which has nothing to do with sports in per se, but more of RuPaul drag race. Okay, so most of athletes that we know of today are public figures. They're not what they seem. Okay, first you gotta ask, are these like human? Because we fight not against flesh and blood. Are we speaking about human? If you haven't seen the movie that is titled They Live or They Live, you should go watch it. And the second question would be, is that a man? Is that a woman? And this is all as an aim to lead to confusion. And whenever we see this fight in the Olympics, whether the Olympic, between men, women, men competing with women, etc., it's just a way to let the people know that from now on, we are dealing with mixed gender, with people that are assigned both so-called sex. It all has to do with reproduction. It has to do with the prosperity of the serpent. And we know that when you're part of the LGBTQ, well, you probably won't be able to conceive naturally. So you would have to buy sperm, or you will have to use other unnatural ways in order to get babies. We also spoke about the Chaldeans, the color, the red and the blue. Okay. And also, not only the sex, the gender, do you ask yourself, but you also ask yourself, is this a black man? Is this person an Israelite? Is this a stranger? Okay, so let's continue. So the music video continues with this frame. So you see this image where you have like a pancarte, let's say, okay, during probably a riot or a protestation. So it is written nation of immigrants, okay, and then B, nation of ignorance. So they're like, okay, let's fight for the immigrants, okay? But the question you should ask yourself is, are these immigrants or infiltrators using the card of immigrants, okay? So this is the New World Order. Immigration, there's no borders, because we've heard in the US, in Canada, but in the US, a lot of immigrants were coming during the night, okay? Like a bus would literally drop them anywhere. And also the US so-called opened their door to Haitian immigrants, or maybe it was simply a embuscade. Okay, so whenever there's immigrants coming to a land or people living, of course, it will change the environment. The environment changes, and also the cultures becomes intertwined. And of course, in terms of a country, you need border. If you have no borders, that means that the country becomes open to attack, okay? So also the complexion of the nation is changing, and that reminds me of the United Nations, okay, the organization. And also it reminds me of Stalin, okay, known as the father of nations, and this is in reference to Abraham. When God made the promise to Abraham, he said that I will make your prosperity as numerous as the star and as the sand. And what's interesting is the image is that nation of immigrants. See the I, then the G, then the N. So IGN. Okay, so I was like, is that a subliminal to say something? So of course, IGN. So this is a This is basically a company, okay, a game network company that was born in 1996 in San Francisco in California. It provides American entertainment, so it all has to do with entertainment. And entertainment, think of it like Enter the Dragon. You enter another world, a 3D world, a spiritual world. Because we know that television, radio, these are all signals that now are made visible. Just like television, it's a signal that now gives you an image. Okay, so this technology is spiritual. So in the industry of video, it's in this industry of video game and media journalism. So I think it's interesting that video game and media journalism is intertwined. So ask yourself this question. So if Donald Trump was seen in a music video, okay, playing the role of the clown, the Joker, okay, and then that same character is now seen in the media as taking very important decisions, okay, whether it's for immigration, work, and so on and so forth. So now you ask yourself, is that just a masquerade?
With reconnecting American cities and communities by traveling across the whole continent, connecting people to the chiral network. That doesn't need to happen in Death Stranding 2 because, well, it's already done. In Death Stranding 2, you'll be working to extend the network past America's borders and into Mexico, before traveling through a nearby plate gate to then connect all of the continent of Australia.
I started at IGN when it hadn't even existed. It was just an idea in Jonathan Simpson-Bent's head. And that was in August 1996.
IGN spun out from Imagine Games. It was originally called the Imagine Games Network, IGN.
They had their own online web entity for the magazines, but then they want to take that one step further and create websites specific for the game system.
Are these the leaders, or are these simply the figures? And what am I looking at? Is it AI? And AI stands for anti, okay? So remove the N, remove the T, anti-AI, which means chaos, okay? Which means Black Lives Matter, which means, I guess, end times. Okay, so also nation, so the United Nations, l'ONU. So it was born in 1945 at the end of World War II, okay? So it's an international organization of 193 member states, and they literally promise, the company promises peace and security, ironically, okay?
In 1945, when the UN was created, humanity had gone through two catastrophic wars. The First World War, in which 30 million people or so had died, and a Second World War, in which another 60 million people had perished. They created a charter which for negotiating settlements, for handling food shortages and dealing with health issues and transportation and all the features that go into living a life on the planet. It has helped give the ground rules about how people should live their lives, how states should work with each other.
So just one thing in the logo, what I thought was interesting is that you see the X, then you see the cross, okay? X and then the red cross. If you haven't watched Babylon and Hidden Side, I think the video titled Time, you should go watch it. And then the same goes here. So you have like eight peak. Yeah, 8 peak. Oops. Also here, the same goes. So you have 1, 2. Okay, then you have the X, you have the cross. And this is the world. Oh. Okay, so let's continue. So yes, so you have the 8-point star. Okay, then you have the wings around for the United logo. You have the wings, and some people don't understand that, but the world is not a globe. Instead, the world has a dome on top, and then it's flat. It has a dome, and from above, the world is a circle. Okay, so it's all a game of perspective, a game of showing you the truth, but us not being able to discern it if you don't have the Holy Spirit, okay? But before in Babylon, they used to speak with language, but now they speak with images and sound, but mostly images and symbol. So the same goes with the IGN logo. So you have the 8-point star, so the X and the cross. And the X and the cross is the same thing. It's just that there's a 45-degree rotation. So you have a cross, and if you rotate it 45 degree, you get an X. Okay, so let's continue. Then we see the same symbol and Cat Williams during an interview. So this was, I believe, around 2021 maybe. It was a time where Hollywood was being so-called exposed. So this is Cat Williams during an interview with Club Shay Shay on YouTube. So see the chain that he's wearing. So the change, you see the cross, okay, woke, folk. Okay, it's woke. And then you see the X, then you see the circle, okay? And what is this symbol exactly? It's like the 8-point, it's like an 8-point star. So it's literally called the Ishtar, also called Inanna. So I have spoken about the door of Ishtar. Yeah, the door of Ishtar, and it's known to be the 8th door, but whatever. Also known as the processional way in the northeast of Babylon City. Procession is a slow, continuous change in rotation around a fixed point of a planet, a star. So think of the solar system. So whenever you see this, so it's like the solar is the sun is so-called in the middle, and then the system is established around it. So this is really a sort of a representation of the solar system, which means Saturn system, which means the system of Satan, okay? And we all know that the planets do not exist as we think they are, okay? These are celestial bodies. These are demons, okay? So Inanna, think of Rihanna, Inanna. So it's considered as one of the 8 celestial doors of the city of Babylon. So a door for demons, okay? A portal. Then once again, the 8 stars, the 8-point stars, we see it in this image. So I believe this was like the Babylonian gods, or maybe you see the Greek. I think, well, because we are in the end time, it was prophesied that the enemies of God would get together in order to get to the people of God, okay? But among themselves, they're fighting too, but they're coming together in order to fight the people of God. But we know that God is all-knowing, all-powerful, and Satan belongs to God. So Satan is a tool of God, okay? So that the perfect will of God can be accomplished. So see here, so they're worshiping the stars, they're worshiping the sun, the moon, but they're using the moon, the sun, as a way to represent something else, okay? So the sun represents la contagion du midi in Psalm 91, the pestilence. I can't remember exactly the verse. Okay, so the star of Remphan too, we can call it this way. It also has the direction, north, south, east, northeast, and so on and so forth. So you can see that way too. In the Bible, it says Lucifer was the morning star, okay? So you can see that way too, because I believe the sun sometimes is, well, in the pagan beliefs, the sun is compared as a star. They say that the sun is a star, but truly there are stars and the sun. So 2 complete different things. But in paganism, they do see Lucifer as the star, as the bright light, as the sun, okay? But it's just blasphemy. And Lucifer is not in heaven, so. Then you have the croissant, okay, the moon, that looks like a boat, okay, the moon. Then you have this, I don't know exactly what it is, but maybe the disc, maybe it's a disc, or maybe it's the sun, okay? And that reminds me of the Chaldeans flag. So they're giving glory to the sun, okay? So you have the god of the sea, Dagon. Then you have Remphan, the eagle. I guess the phoenix would be the phoenix, which also is the dragon, would be the mix of both, okay? So also the flags, so you see the Turkish flag, all the Middle East country generally have a star or a moon in their flag. Also here China, you also have Israel, but this one is a 6-star, so it's like a triangle above and below. Another way to think of above and below could be day and night, okay? So Brazil, so this is their flag. They also have the star in the blue planet, then the 5-star here. The flag of the US, you have the stars. Okay, so just to give an idea. So once again, we see the same so-called false god, demons, Dagon, the dragon, the phoenix, I don't know. So this is another image. So Remphan is also known as Anu or Zeus or all these pagan names or titles. So this is the dragon and this is the Anu, Zeus, whatever. So see the forks, the 3 forks here, okay? The 3 forks, the forks with three teeth, let's call it like this. Then you see the wings because these are fallen angels. Then once again, we see that same beast, okay, which was exhibited at the ONU head office in New York in 2021, just after the so-called Black Lives Matter. So I just want to read this verse in Revelation 13, 2-7. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death. So it's someone who has resurrected, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast, and they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them, and power was given him all over kindreds and tongues and nations. Oh, this verse is this is prophecy. So I also presented an image of Barack Obama, okay, depicting Akhenaten, and also even Beyonce depicting Nefertiti. Let's go back. Okay, so this is CERN. It has to do with the internet, but so it's like Rihanna represents the Pope, okay, the Vatican, Santa. But then, see the moon here? Even the moon is here, see? Okay, so then Beyonce is representing also Nefertiti, okay? In her music video Homecoming, which she introduced in 2018 when she performed at Coachella. Okay. So then it all has to do with climate change. So Nefertiti, you also see the tattoo here on Rihanna. But then she was also depicted as Nefertiti. And strangely, Akhenaten looks exactly like Obama. And Akhenaten was the 10th ruler of the 18th dynasty. So think of the verse that says Luke 10:18, which says that Satan was cast out from heaven. Okay? So family structure is changing. Now people are not having children naturally in the natural way. Men are turned against women. And most of these celebrities, like the men are literally the woman and the woman are the men. So there's a lot of deception. And we sometimes wonder why are men so feminine and women so masculine? Well, it's because we're following these deities, these demons, and we replicate what we see. Their energy, the spirit, what they're casting on us. Okay? And they were always obsessed with the Israelites. It's all about the people God chose, okay? God's people. And then, well, first, it's about God's image, who's men and women, okay? That becomes one. And then it's all about God's people, okay? Because it's all about God, in other words. Satan is a jealous, so he wants to destroy the people, the real human, in order to replace them with AI, with children of Satan, okay? A natural born baby, so-called. So then, of course, so this statue, okay, called Albrecht, maybe Albrecht statue exhibited in ONU, New York. So it was done. So Albrecht symbolizes the guardian of international peace and security. And this art piece is a fusion of the jaguar and the eagle, so the dragon, which represents the pre-Hispanic and national history. And think of Christophe Colomb. And Beyonce is depicting Christophe Colomb. And she signed to Columbia Records. Okay. So it was temporary exhibited in New York and was organized by the Permanent Mission of Mexico to the United Nations. So there's a partnership between Mexico and New York. That's how we should read this. Okay. So what's interesting is that in Mexico, they do have, of course, pagan beliefs. They do not believe, at least their culture do not believe in the real God, okay? Well, beside Israel, all the nations are serving pagan gods. And the people that comes to the truth, whether they're from other nations or Israelites, we all have access to eternal life through Jesus Christ, okay? All you have to do is confess that Jesus is Lord, ask for forgiveness for your sin, and then you'll be justified by the blood of Jesus. So when the accuser, Satan, the devil, will come to accuse you of your sin, you have the blood of Jesus that covers you, okay? All powerful, all knowing, Jesus, the light of the world, the light of man, okay? The beginning and the end. Okay. So I think it's interesting because so in Mexico there's this ritual, the Aztec ritual, where they do human sacrifice which is portrayed in this image. So see, this looks like a pyramid. Okay, you have the stairs, and then of course the killings. And see, they're barely wearing clothes. They're wearing all white also. And then they also have this practice where they would wear Jaguar warrior uniform as a tax pay method, okay, from Codex Mendoza. So see, you will see this pattern everywhere whenever they want to seduce the mass or include sexual meanings or whatever. You will generally see your favorite celebrity or influencer wear a cheetah print, okay, clothing. And I will be showing more of these images a little later because we know that fashion speaks, okay? You don't have to use language to speak. Just the visual, the presentation, the gestures is enough. Okay, so I wanted to introduce that. And then this is once again the same beast, okay? But portrayed as a woman, the jaguar, sometimes also known as a siren, known as Nefertiti, but also as Inanna, okay, the demon god of stars. I don't know, but demon god of stars, something like this, okay? But when we say star, we're talking about the death. So this is the Sphinx, okay? It's a grand architectural structure to royal tombs and temples. The entrance is depicted with a woman's head, the body of a lion, and the wings of an eagle. So the sphinxes in Egypt, Greek, pagan culture were considered as guardians representing security. So for the pagans, Jesus and the eternal, the Almighty is not the one protecting you, but instead it's these statues made of human hands, okay? Then also, once again, the Sphinx. So it's this, in here, it is this depicted with a bird wings, the tail, the paw of a lion, a human head, a woman's breast. From Egyptian and Greek mythology, Great Sphinx has become the emblem of Egypt, a representation of the pharaoh's force and power of symbol of protection for the pharaoh's tomb. So we're talking about the dead. We're talking about demons, okay? So, and also the reason why these statues are so big is because we're talking probably about Nephilim, okay? Abominations to God. And we know that spirits, evil spirits don't die, okay? The body, the physical, the material world will die. But spirits, they don't. They're eternal. So it's either your spirit goes to eternal happiness with God, with eternal peace, okay, life, or you go to eternal death, okay? So then once again, the same Sphinx, also known as, sometimes depicted as Bastet, child of Ra and Isis, whatever, known as the instrument of vengeance of Remphan, a warrior goddess who personified the destructive power of the sun. Okay, so think of the panther, the Black Panther. Then once again, okay, here it was during the Super Bowl. What do you think the Super Bowl is about, okay? So this is Katy Perry performing on the Sphinx, or what looks like a lion, a gold lion. So are we referencing the golden age? So this was during the halftime show on February 2015. So she's wearing flames. See the people behind, but they're like in red. It looks like a montage, to be honest. But are these people in the back represented as demons, as the minions? I don't know. So then once again, see the same Sphinx portrayed as the beast, okay, that the abomination is sitting on. So we can maybe think of Beyonce or the Pope, whatever, sitting on the beast. And then what looks here like a cup, I don't know. But see, that looks like the sun. Then you see the serpent tails. And it looks like the Babylon is in the underworld. And then where you see the diamond or whatever, it's like the other world, the world above. So world below and above. And see here the hand that is praying. See the faces. Then that same card was portrayed here, and lust. It is strange because we know that Babylon, her cup, what she gives to the people is lust. So what you see here in the Super Bowl is like you can see it as a lust ritual. They are casting a lust spell on the nation using television and during the halftime Super Bowl. And we know that the Super Bowl is one of the most watched so-called sport event on television. Okay, so let's read about this tarot card, Lust. Okay, so it's mitigate energy with love, drunk in love. Yeah. So, but let love devour all things. Okay, depict cosmic law symbolized by the union of the war of Babylon and the beast, lion, serpent. This is essentially the Thelemic version of Mother Nature and Father Son. This is really abomination. I'm sorry. But just to explain and see infinite symbol, or the 8 symbol, which represents change. And think also of the Lion King album Beyonce did for Disney. Lion King. And Babylon is depicted as a woman, but Babylon can be a man too. So the devil take many different aspects. Sometimes he take the aspect of a beautiful lady, or sometimes he take the aspect of a gentleman. But both are the devil. So then, of course, the lion, the wild lion. Think of wow, 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 wow thoughts. Wild thoughts. So we're speaking about lust, okay? And if you have seen the music video, you'll realize. And that music was performed by DJ Khaled and Rihanna. And it was sampled after Wyclef Jean's version. So Wyclef, for people that don't know, he's a Asian so-called artist or magician. And the music video Wild Thoughts was shot in Florida, in the Haitian neighborhood, okay? La Petite Haïti. The same music, Wild Thoughts, was also sampled from the 1999 Maria Maria, okay? And it was performed by Santana. And Santana, Santeria, Sinterklaas, okay? These are all subliminals to tell you that this is Satan behind this masquerade. And Wild Thoughts was released in June 16 in 2017. Okay. And I'm pretty sure Bryson Taylor is also a Haitian man. I'm pretty sure. Okay, so yeah. So this is the music video, Wild Thoughts, filmed in Florida neighborhood of Little Haiti, a Caribbean marketplace. Okay. So why are they so obsessed with Haitian? Because the Haitians are the Hebrew Israelites. This is the city of Miami, the neighborhood. Okay, so where is Little Haiti? Where is it located? Oh, there it is, the Lemon City. Lemon City, Little Haiti. Here, just right here. And think of Lemonade, the music video Lemonade by Beyonce. Okay, and see, it was for her homecoming. It was introduced via homecoming. So yeah, I think it's interesting. And see the neighborhoods like Liberty City, Little River, Palmer Lake, Virginia Gardens, Sunset, Olympia. And Olympia, the Olympics, means Santeria, the 5 rings, the 5 principalities. And here even Park West. So it's interesting. Okay, so once again, going back to the force. So we know that Rihanna and Beyonce are portraying the Egyptian force many times. We have the pyramids and so on. And for the last days, the enemies of God will get together in order to so-called destroy the people of God. So she's known as, so it's Inanna, also called Ishtar. Okay, so you have the 8-point star. She's the goddess of war, fertility, beauty, and sex. Okay, and this is exactly what all these celebrities are portraying. You see the lion, okay, or the beast. She has her foot on him, and she's holding him, like she dominates the lion. She has the wings. Then see the so-called sun. So also called Ishtar, Isis, Inanna, Ashtar, Asherah, Aset, Astarte for Phoenicians, Anat for the Canaanites, Aphrodite for the Greeks, Artemis, Luna, Venus, Neith for the Egyptians, Sulis for Great Britain, Sarasvati for the Hinduism, Virgin Mary in Catholicism. So the same deity, but with a different face, different name, different pictures. So here also it's interesting because this is the logo, the Egyptian logo force, and this is the same 8-star. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, exactly. The same 8-star points. So Isis, think of Isis. So let's talk about the forces and war. Okay, let's look at the logo of other countries. So this is the Russian Air and Space Force, just right here. Then you have, so the forces are separated in three. Okay, so you have the air, okay, then you have land, and then you have underwater. So think of World War III. So now the World War III is in the air, and Satan is called the prince of power of air, okay? He makes you believe that space exists with the planets and everything, but truly, they're communicating something else, okay? Okay, so the Russian airspace, then you have the land force, then you have the Navy force. Then here for the Spanish Air Force, you also have the same logo with the wings. You have the sun in the middle and the crown. And it is in reference to Lucifer. Then here, the land force. Then you have here the Navy force, the Spanish Navy force with the anchor. Then here you have for Japan, you have the Air and Space Force. So you see the 5-star, the Star of Remphan. You also see the moon, the Sphinx, the wings. Key to defense, ready anytime. Yeah. So the Japan Land Force. So you have the sun, the red dot. So you also see the same red dot in the Spanish Red Force. You see it in the old flag of China. Then the Iraq Air Force, and the colors looks exactly like Egypt. So you also have ISIS. Then the Iraq Land Force. So you have the yellow, you have the triangle, you have an X. Then you have the Navy Air Force, so you have the anchor. And you also have a logo which looks like the Venus logo. Okay, the LGBTQ plus logos. Then we have the US Air Force. Okay, so you once again have the eagle or the Sphinx. Then the land force. Okay. Then see, you have the Navy force, and the eagle looks like a boat. Okay. And then you have like the intertwine, which looks like an 8. And land, sea. See, you have also the 3 flags. Navy blue, lol. Then you have the French Air Force here. And this looks like a bird with 2 colors, and the 2 colors together gives purple. Then you have the land force, so see the internet in the back. Okay, the internet logo. Armée de terre. Then you have the Marine national logo. Okay. French Marine national logo. Then you have the Haitian Corps. So this is the Air Force. Okay, then you have the Haitian Air and Navy Force. So see once again the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 7 star with the 5 star in the middle. Anyway, okay, then you have the Nigerian Air Corps. So see 2 horses and then the eagle in the middle and at the bottom too. Then you have Nigerian. Did I did a mistake? Okay, I think it's Nigerian. Okay, Nigerian Navy Force. And then here you have the Nigerian Navy Force. Oh, here it's... Oh, wait. Okay, I think I need to fix this, but it's okay. So this is the Nigerian Navy Force with the anchor, and that looks like a serpent. Yeah. And then the 3 forks, the forks with 3 heads. Okay. Then let's talk about the seal. So you have the seal of the US with the stars, and that looks exactly like the false Israel logo, the above and below here. What is above the eagle? You see the Israel flag logo. Then see here the seal of Canadian Army. You see the cross or the X. Then you see the leaves, the red leaves. Then you have the seal of Russia. So the two heads, the crown, and the horse on the dragon. That has the minion on the dragon. And then the Spanish seal. So you see the cross here. Okay, the eagle and etc. Okay, so I thought, okay, so we spoke about Isis, the different ways Isis is presenting herself as Ishtar, as Inanna, Ashtar, but it's really the same. Then let's talk about I Spice, okay? So we've seen the red and the blue pretty much everywhere. So we know that red stands for spicy, and then blue stands for ice or icy. So I Spice, her real name is Isis Naija Gaston. Okay, in Greek, Isis means throne. In Arabic, Naija means daughter of wisdom. Okay, in German, Gaston means the foreigner, the guest, or the invader, maybe. Okay, so this is the music. This is a cover she did for her first compilation or album. So see the latex. See, she's covering her guest part. Okay, so guess, is that a man? Is that a woman? Okay, it's really a lustful also position. Then she also has the red hair. Okay, what does the red hair represent? It represents war. It's like when you know when there's an explosion in the air and then you see like a red explosion. That's what it means. Okay. And she has been promoting promiscuity in New York. She's from New York. And she has been promoting promiscuity, okay, among the youth. Okay. And she also calls herself Princess Diana of the Hood, Princess of the Hood, something like this. So this is her once again. So I Spice 23, New York rapper and Saint Rise of Fame. So this was an article written in June 2023 by E.T. So after singing a deal with 10K Projects and Capitol Records in the fall, the Bronx native added fuel to her already raging fire and dropped her debut EP Like at the top of 2023. Since the rapper hit the scene, she's found herself on the Met Gala, and we know what the Met Gala represents. Red carpet, gained over 37 million monthly listeners on Spotify, and received the co-sign of rappers like Drake and the self-proclaimed queen of rap herself, Nicki Minaj. So see, she's portrayed in high places, okay? So we find out against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers of darkness, against demons in high places, something like this. So she also has the red hair. She has the power puff necklace, a very heavy necklace. Then she's on a motorcycle, so this could be looked as horn, okay? Then the emphasis too. You see the blue, then you see the red. Okay, the blue and the red, you see the black. So that reminds me in the Met Gala 2025 with Tiana Taylor and her co-interviewer, how they were placed with the right hand of Anna Wintour, okay? And see the snow behind, there is snow. Okay, so that brings me to this tarot card that is called art, okay? And art is used as a universal language. So art, you can think of imagery, you can think of fashion, you can think of music, you can think of whatever, okay? It goes beyond language, like speaking tongues. So art is used as a universal language. So let's read about this so-called tarot card. And please remember one thing. The US is found on game, okay? So Aleister Crowley, I spoke about it. So Aleister Crowley, when he came with the system, or even the people before him, when they came with the system, it was based on play. It's like a mind, they're programming our mind to think like Americans through playing, whether it's casino, video games, whether it's card, okay, regular card, which are also tarot cards, whether it is through crypto trading, whether it is to literally like going to buy a bingo ticket, whether you go to the arcade, whether you go to cinema or any entertainment, okay? They introduce game. Even the Monopoly game, chess game, all these games were made in order to facilitate the transmission of wickedness, okay? So let's read about this card. So, oh wait, just see. So you have the lion or the leopard or whatever. Then you have the sphinx or the eagle or I don't know. So see blue and then red intertwined together. So pour thine all freely from the vase, okay? And thy right hand and lose no drop, hat no thy left hand a vase. Transmute all wholly into the image of thy will. So it's the will of God that goes first, because the will of man leads to destruction. The will of man is evil, okay? Bringing each to its true token of perfection. So perfection in the eyes of man, that must be an abomination to the eyes of God. Dissolve the pearl in the wine cup, drink and make manifest virtue of that pearl. And when you think of pearl is a symbolizes beauty. And we know that Hades, known as la perle des Antilles, combination of forces, realization, action based on accurate calculation, the way of escape, success after elaborate manners. So yes, so when we're talking about forces, when we are talking about war, most of us think of guns, we think of, the bombs and etc. But truly the war is spiritual. So whenever you see all these big events, these are literally ritual. And there's a verse that says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. Sometimes we are serving this God without knowing. Sometimes we are even offering our kids to these gods without knowing. So whenever you put your kids in front of the TV and you say, okay, I need time for myself, I'm just gonna drop my kids in front of the TV and do whatever, you are literally handing your kid to the devil, okay? Because all these television characters have a lot of influence on the mass. And you can even take the example of music artists. Most of children, or not even only music artists, but even sports influencers, most of the kids or the youth wants to look exactly like them, play like them, talk like them. So you gotta be the friend of your kid. Or if you don't have time to be friends with your kid, at least lead them to God, to the Holy Spirit, okay? Lead them to the real true God, because there's a lot of deception going on. And see here, even in the music video, Rihanna is wearing a Versace belt. And what is Versace? So we will see this in the next episode, but Versace stands for Medusa. It stands for chaos. It stands for AI, anti. That means that you are a demon embodied in a fleshly way, okay? Whether it's through dolls, okay? Voodoo dolls, whether it's through the dolls that they use in museum, whether it's through prosthetics, whatever invention that exists, or through AI, okay? Okay, so the Haitians are the Israelites. That's why they're so obsessed with Haitian people. And the Lion King, it is not what you think. Okay, so I really hope you enjoy. Have a nice one. Okay, so the music that you hear in the background, titled Doll, is available if you are someone who creates video and sometimes you're looking for royalty-free music. Then you can purchase it on my website, jessieemileboutique.com. So I hope you enjoyed this video and see you on the next one, okay? Because I will be continuing this series, this web series.
Embrace the self, not someone else. Embrace the trace, not someone else's. play road.